It's terrifying to think that it is already Thanksgiving. It's coming up here in a few days, and every year I like to take this time to specifically count the things that I'm grateful for. And I'm not going to lie, that's a little harder this year because 2022 has been very difficult for me and my family. We have had loved ones become incredibly sick. Two people in my family got cancer. That was incredibly challenging. On top of that, we were building and moving into a new house. I mean, that's a great problem to have, but there are a lot of complications with it, which only added on to things. Quit my job to go full time into doing this. My wife started a new job, so there has just been 2022 has just been a year of incredible adjustment for us and a lot of challenges. And even though some of those things are good. New jobs, new house, different things like that. It has just added to the complexity of what we have gone through. And first and foremost, I want to say that I am grateful for my wife Lindsay because this has not been a year of happiness necessarily for us. I'm not saying that we haven't been happy this year, but that would not, if you were to say describe this year in one word, it would definitely not even make the top 10. Again, it's not that we haven't been happy. It's been an incredibly challenging year. Even for us in our marriage, it hasn't been the most blissful year of marriage that we've ever had. We've had, struggles. We've gone to marriage counseling to just work through the things that we're doing, and we're coming out stronger because of it. But it's just one of those things to where I think in culture nowadays, specifically in America, we have this unhealthy obsession with happiness. And the problem is the people who are obsessed with chasing happiness are some of the most unhappy people I've ever met. And I think a lot of that has to do with really just three different things. Like number one, happiness is not permanent. It is literally impossible to be in a permanent state of happiness. And number two is because a big reason for that is happiness is on a spectrum. You can't have happiness. You can't know what happiness is without first knowing sadness and sorrow. And some of the greatest joys and times of being happy in life come, shortly after some of the greatest times of sorrow. So it's very much a dichotomy there that we're constantly chasing it. And the other thing I would just say, the third final thing is that the best things in life don't make you happy. They don't. I mean, they may make you happy some of the time, but the majority of the time they don't. I tell people this all the time. Think about the person that you love most in this world right now. Think about who that is. Top two, top three people, pick one. Pick somebody who means the most to you in this world. Okay. Got him? Okay. Now imagine that thinking about that person, all your interactions with them, whenever you're talking with them, whenever you're hanging out with them, do they always make you happy? Do they ever make you angry? Do they ever make you frustrated? Do they ever make you sad? Do they ever make you not want to talk to them anymore? I mean, it's like I'm thinking of, my wife, I'm thinking of my children, I'm thinking of my parents, some of my siblings, things like that. The answer across the board with all of them is yes. They absolutely make me all of those things. They make me happy. They make me sad. They make me angry. They make me want to pull the little bit of hair that I have left out of my head sometimes. And I do the exact same thing to them. I absolutely know that to be true. So if the goal is to constantly be chasing in happiness, then wouldn't the best thing to do be to cut people like that out of our life? And then think about this. Whoever that person is, that's the most important person to you, the person that you love most in this world. Imagine that you get a call and they are sick and dying in the hospital. They are on their deathbed. And they're like, if you want to say goodbye to them, you need to come see them now. Well, that's not going to make you happy to go and do it. So would you just not go to the hospital then and be like, yep, I'm having a really good day. The sun is shining. The air is crisp. It's getting chilly out. I got to wear my favorite sweater. I mean, I love them and everything, but that's just really going to kill the vibe, for today. No, you would never do that. If this is the person that means the most to you in the world, you would drop everything, break all traffic laws to get there as fast as you can to savor every single moment that you had left with them before they died. Why? Not because it makes you happy, but because it's significant. And that's the thing I think that we need to really be focused on in this time in our lives. We need to say, screw happiness. Whenever it comes along, that's great. But that doesn't need to be a focus at all. What we need to focus on is significance, doing things that have deep meaning and really matter in life. And whenever you do something like that, it's going to be hard. Some of the happiest times is when you get into a new relationship with someone, right? Because you don't know them that well. You're both on your best behaviors. You're not trying to like piss off the other person or anything like that. And what ends up happening is as you get to know one another, you spend time, you invest energy, money, buying gifts and doing things together. Like all these things ends up happening. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this person's starting to grind my gears a little bit. Well, doesn't mean you don't want to be around them anymore. It means you're getting to know them. It's becoming more significant. The shift from this blissful happiness, because you two are just trying to not ruffle each other's feathers and, see what each other's personalities are like, is now being substituted for a time of deeper meaning, of getting to know one another, to understand the way the other person thinks, their habits and tendencies, and the little things that annoy you about them that for some strange reason you come to love later on. And different things like that. So the point that I'm just trying to say is that some of the best things in life are not happiness. So don't bring you happiness. So don't chase it. Don't chase happiness. It'll find you. I think we see some of the most unhappy people, like I said, are people that are just constantly trying to be happy. They cut people out of their lives because they're not good for their state of being. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't hang out with people, because there's legitimately people that will bring you down and all that. But again, I'm talking about relationships that have deep meaning, that have significance. And I think some of the most unhappy people actually don't have relationships like that, or don't have a lot of them. They don't have strong bonds. So anyway, getting off the high horse there, chase significance, not happiness. I think, like I said, going back to this year with how difficult of a year it's been, this has not been a year of happiness, but it's definitely been one of significance. When I think back on this year of 2022, and we got 6 weeks left in the year and different things like that, whatever ends up happening, I'm going to see that 3 years of preparation to leave my job, financial prepping, building a business plan, all these other things finally converged and came to fruition. And I was able to quit, and I was able to go and chase a dream. That's something that was significant. And it's funny because here I am working on this financial media company, helping others work towards modern freedom. And, I'm having to do a lot of the base work right now, building a website, a lot of back end stuff, research, all these other things. And, it's not like the fun stuff of business, right? Some legal things got to incorporate and copyright some stuff. And my wife, she asked me the other day, she goes, I know this is what you wanted to do for so long, but are you enjoying it? Like, you just don't seem very happy. And I'm like, I had a really rough day that day, and I think my face probably looked like this. And I was like, no, like it's a ton of fun. Like I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm glad I'm doing this. I could hear it in my tone. It didn't make sense. It was like, no, I'm actually freaking thrilled. It wasn't sarcastic. It was just, it's how it's going. But it's true. It's like I'm doing something that's significant. It has deep meaning to me. But sometimes it's really hard. Entrepreneurialism is hard. Building a business is hard. It's not easy. It doesn't always bring me happiness, but I'm extremely fulfilled in doing it because it's something that is significant to me. So I will remember that. I will remember with the people in my family who got sick with cancer. That was a absolutely miserable time for all of us. Obviously, very miserable time for them. But you know what? Like, the times of going to the doctor appointment with them, getting done with the chemo and radiation treatments, and ringing the bell when the treatments were done, and the fight that had been involved with that, the courage that it took for for her to go through what she did, the family being able to rally around her, take care of her in times that are low, like all of us coming together, doing different things, our kids being able to spend time with them. These are all moments of significance. And, strangely enough, even though like there were a lot of highs, there were a lot of lows in there. Some of it was happiness, some of it was absolute sorrow, finding it out, despair, even not knowing what was going to happen yet, not knowing if, a cure was going to be available. Like there's so many questions and uncertainty. But in the middle of it all, like I said, it all centered around bringing us closer together. It increased the love that we all have for each other. It allowed us to really treasure the time we have, since we don't know how much. I mean, even for people who are healthy, you don't know if you're going to, get in a car wreck tomorrow and pass on. So, you know, I just say all this to say that 2022 again is going to go down as a very challenging and difficult year for my family. But I'm going to look on it and I'm going to remember more about this year than I will remember most years, because of the fight that we had in us, the challenges that we faced and we overcame, the bonds that we all formed, and the things that brought us closer together. I'm extremely grateful for that. And I'll end this with this. If you do want to be happy, this is the secret to being happy. The secret to being happy, a lot of people get this backwards. They think that, well, when I'm happy, I will be grateful. But it's actually the exact opposite. It's when you are grateful, you will be happy. And, we all know people who have, or most of us know people anyway, who have just about everything in life and they're completely miserable. And it's like, you have everything. Like, how could you not be happy? We see superstars and actors and actresses all the time, and they talk about how depressed they are and how things are. It's like, you have no need of money. You travel around the world. People are waiting on you at your every whim. You are beloved by fans, all these other things. Like, what more could you need in life? I'm here working a 9 to 5, barely scraping by in my crappy little apartment, and you're sitting here telling me how hard you've got it. And you made $25 million last year. So it's like, we don't understand that sometimes. But then on the other side, you could have somebody like, one of my family members who had incredible misfortune, stage 4 cancer kind of sprung on them. And then you just see smiles on their faces, and you hear the stories of how in the cancer ward, they brought joy to other people's lives because they were just grateful for the time that they had. They were grateful for every day that they were still able to be here, for various different reasons. And it just goes to show the dichotomy there. And that's why, if you want to be happy, don't focus, or if you want to be happy, don't try to be happy and then think that you'll find gratefulness. Just be grateful. Sit back, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but say it out loud. There is power in speaking words out loud, and in changing your mindset and going, you know what? I am grateful for this. I am so thankful that I have this person in my life. I am grateful that I have the opportunity to do this, let alone just live another day. So that would be my hope and my prayer for everybody out there, is that during this time of Thanksgiving, when we're being inundated with commercials, all the Black Friday and Cyber Monday stuff is being thrown at us. I know it's the irony of the fact that the day after we practice being thankful, we are just lambasted with consumerism and saying, hey, buy more, buy this, get this thing, it'll make you happy, blah, blah, blah. Just block all of that out, even for just one day, and just really take time to go, these are 5 things that I am truly grateful for. And then try doing that once a week. And then maybe try doing it every day for a month, and see how it changes your perspective on life. See how it changes your overall mindset. I promise you that you're going to feel lighter. And guess what? You're going to be happier. And with that, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I hope that 2022 has been a year of significance and deep meaning for you. And if not, if it hasn't felt that way so far, then I hope that over the next 6 weeks that you are truly able to find that. And until our paths cross again.